Right, Mrs Birling, a deeply unpleasant woman, not very nice at all, but she might come up in our exams, so we have to get our head round her. Like my previous videos, I'm doing this to secure a band 4, which is going to be a level 5. Now for that we need to hit the following things. We need a conceptualised introduction, we need suitable quotes from across the text, and then the 4 key elements that I've colour coded here, which my analysis will be colour coded as I move through. We need to be hitting writer's language, we need to be hitting an effect of the writer's methods, so what Priestley is trying to tell us, we need to show an understanding of different ideas and perspectives, and we need to link it to the context. As I've previously said before, we're not going to do this every single time, we're just going to do it when it's relevant and when it matters. So we've got to start off our essay with a conceptualised introduction to Mrs Birling, and like all good conceptualised introductions, I need to show an understanding of the question first of all. So Mrs Birling is the mother of the family and in spectacles. Now an overview of the points I'm going to make. Priestley presents her as a character in a deeply ironic and dangerous position in society, for she leads a charity, however dismisses the lower classes as immoral and irrelevant. Now what am I going to say that's unique to myself and not everybody else? I believe that Priestley uses Mrs Birling to demonstrate the perilous position of the lower classes, but also to demonstrate how their fates are entwined with those higher in society. We are all connected and responsible for each other. She, above all, realises the error of her ways when it's too late. Her choices, her outlook, her mindset costs her dearly because it costs her her own grandchild. So, as I said before in my previous videos, I plan my essays with a timeline, and I'm going to go throughout the play from start to end, showing the development of the character. Now before Mrs Birling even takes stage, the lights are pink and intimate, brighter and harder. Now these are deliberately the same quotes I've used for previous essays. If I can use the same quotes for more than one character, it cuts down on my revision. So the lighting reflects Mrs Birling's character and outlook. The pink showing her rose-tinted view of life. She's got a very cosy lifestyle. She doesn't need to worry about the negative elements of society. She's also got a very intimate life in that she is close with her family, she's close with the upper classes, but she has nothing to do. She tries to have as little to do as possible with the lower classes. However, when the inspector arrives, it becomes brighter, it's shining a light on her responsibility, and her above all others, because she's actually got a very clear and conscious responsibility that she's chosen, considering she is part of the Bromley Women's Charity. This is also very hard for her, so reflected by the light. She doesn't want to take that responsibility, she doesn't want to realise the cost, the damage that she is causing to these people. So, first paragraph done, moving on. Her central quote, the one that completely epitomises her, is this one: girls of that class. So she associates immorality with the lower classes, which is an incredibly dangerous situation for society, because if she is going to be one of these leaders on these charities, and she believes that the lower classes are going to be this immoral and this poor, then who is going to help them? What hope, what chance do they have? But this is also quite ironic, because it is in fact her and it's her family that are the ones that have the skewed moral compass. They're the ones that are being immoral, not Eva Smith, who is probably the most moral, most pious person we meet. It's also quite key in terms of our language choices. She chooses the word girls, which we associate with being quite immature, naive, quite young. Now Eva is pregnant and she's defied more hardship than Mrs Birling had ever imagined in her upper class lifestyle. She's never had to suffer the same way that Eva Smith has, but she is patronising and she's insulting to her in the word choice that she uses, calling her a girl. Now I think this is quite sad, because this is 1912. Women are in a subordinate position as it is, and the women that are above, people like Eva Smith, the women that are at the top of the food chain, at the top of society, they should be helping people like Eva. They should be supporting her, not patronising her, not being insulting towards her. So moving on to paragraph 3 now, and she's a prominent member of the Bromley Women's Charity. Now there's a key word here, which is prominent, that we need to pick up on first. Now if you're a prominent, you're leading something, but you're being quite clear in it. You want people to know you're in that position if you're a prominent member of something. So she's using her charity for her own reputational gain, just like how the upper classes have been benefiting from the lower classes previously with Mr Birling. He uses the fact that the lower classes are poor, that they haven't got enough money, that they can't go on strike for a long time. He uses that situation for his own gain, his own benefit. Mrs Birling is doing exactly the same thing here with Eva in her charity. Now this is deeply sad, because she should be helping people like Eva Smith, but because she's an upper class woman, she's never understood it. She never has had the experience to be able to even empathise with what she's doing. And she is using her power and her reputation and her position of influence to make Eva Smith's life even more difficult. A similar quote that goes along with that is this one, deserving cases, when she is talking about the people that come into the charity and how she's only going to help those that are deserving. Now that's a quite dangerous thing, because she said previously that girls of that class, that they are immoral, that she associates people who are poor with some questionable life choices, and now here she is saying that she's going to decide who gets help and who doesn't. Well, it's coming quite clear that she's not going to help very many people, and that position, that society, and that charity is for her gain, not somebody else's. I think this all shows Priestley's argument that the lower classes are in a very dangerous and very volatile situation. Eva Smith, there is no more deserving person for help than her. She has been hurt and she has been let down by so many different people that she has turned to and gone to, but instead Mrs Birling uses her as an opportunity to show off her class, show off her power, and to crush her down even more. But this all comes to a head by the final line, a final part of the play, when Eric, her son, turns to her and says, "You killed them both, damn you, damn you." Her choices have killed her own grandchild. In being prejudiced against Eva, it's her own family that has suffered, which completely backs up Priestley's key message. He's been saying throughout this, through the inspector, that we are all connected to each other, we're responsible for each other, and Mrs Birling realises this far too late. She's killed her own family member without even realising. But I think this also shows what a poor mother that she is. She's brought up a son that's unable to take responsibility because, I'm not being funny, this is his child. And he turns around and says, "Damn you, damn you." He blames his mum as much as anyone else. He's incapable of being independent. He's incapable of being an honest father, supporting his child. If we're going to measure the success of a mother, is that not a complete failure of her motherly duties? She has been quite pious and upright in her messages and the way she is banded around her reputation and banded around her beliefs to society, but actually when it comes down to it, she has failed in her most fundamental position, which is to bring up her children. Throughout our play, she is saying things like, he doesn't drink. It sounds to me that she doesn't even know him. She has not taken the time to really understand her son and to help him be the man that he is desired to be. So that's my plan for Mrs Birling. Those are the 5 quotes I would use and the points I would make, and as you've seen throughout, we've managed to hit all the elements of our band 4 that the examiner is after. I hope it's been useful, and very best of luck.